See, that's you now, and that's you from the future. The very fat version of you in the future, or a very ripped version of you in the future. There's also a very rich version of you in the future, and a very poor version of you in the future. And see, those 4 versions of you in the future, they all exist. They're all valid versions of you in the future. It's basically 25% chance of whichever one happening. You don't know which one is going to happen. But one thing we know is that one of the 4 will happen. You don't know what's going to happen in your life. You don't know if you'll be fucking fat in 5 years or if you'll be ripped as fuck in 5 years. You don't know. You don't know what can happen. Maybe you fall into a great depression and end up fat as fuck. Or you might get ripped, or you might get fucking rich, or you might lose all your money. No one knows. So realize that in 5 years, there's an equal chance that you might be very fat or very strong, very rich or very poor. It's an equal chance. The only thing that's going to dictate what happens is the steps you take. You can take steps towards the right direction, but then, you have a hard time and then you start displacing toward this character. But then you realize that you fucked up and you have to lock in again. It's only a matter of the steps you take. You only need to know which direction to take the steps toward. Which one do you want to reach? And once you know the one you want to get to, you know the steps. If you don't want to get fat, you don't eat like a fucking swine. If you want to get ripped, you know what you have to do. It's just hard. But if you have to make the decision right now, to choose which version of you want to become in 5 years, you just have to pick. Instead of wandering around and being a retard, you know that if you go clubbing, it's going to be steps towards this direction upwards. It's downwards, but the fat person and the broke person are upwards. Then you start maybe looking at what you eat. You head downwards. Then you go clubbing too much. You take drugs because you're with your lazy friends who take drugs all the time. So you just know what to do. You have to pick the goal, and then the actions make sense. You have to dedicate to taking the steps towards the future version of you that you want to be. If you know you want to be this, you just take the steps towards this. Now this takes 5 years, right? 5 years of taking the steps in this direction. If you have no clue who you want to be in 5 years, you won't really be taking any steps anywhere. You'll go a little bit upwards, downwards, left, right, center, spin around in circles. But take a moment to visualize who you want to be, and then the steps towards the person you want to be are pretty fucking straightforward.